Oh, hey there. So when I went to Israel, we went to Bethlehem, a longer journey. We went to Bethlehem, and we had to go through a bunch of security, and our guide couldn't go in there. There was a different guide, and he came, and we went in, and I remember it felt very commercialized, like they were trying to sell Jesus all over the place, but like Jesus wasn't really welcome there. And I thought, that's how it was whenever he was born. That's how it was when he was born, is there wasn't room for him. There's a city that's full, but there was no room for him. I want to tell you a quick story about the fourth wise man. This is fictional, okay? But I think it's got a good moral. I heard this decades ago, and it's always stuck with me, and it's Christmas time, so I figure I'll tell you. There's a story about a man who came from the east, another wise man, and he had three big jewels that he was like, I want to bring these to the King of Kings. I want to show my love, respect, and adoration. I want to pay homage to this new king that's coming. And I brought these three big jewels. And he brings his entourage. He's very rich. He brings his entourage. And as he's coming across, he stops somewhere, and there's somebody that has been beaten up and left for dead. And they've robbed him and stripped him naked. And he's like, I can't leave this guy here. And so he takes him and makes sure that he gets nursed back to health, but because of his entourage and everything, it takes a while, and it ends up spending one of his jewels. And by the time he gets to where Jesus was born in Bethlehem, Jesus is no longer there. And so by that point, enough time has passed, journeys took longer back then, that he ended up staying with a family, and they hosted him and his entourage, and they were very kind to him. But then Herod put out the order to kill all the babies that are 2 years old or younger. And this family had a baby there, and they heard all the screams from all the other parents, and they knew what was going on. And he heard the soldiers coming close to the door, and although he wanted this jewel to go to the King of Kings, he walked outside the door and closed it behind him, and to the guy in charge out there, the Roman guard in charge, he bribed him with one of the jewels and said, please pass this house over. Don't kill this child. And I'm like, whatever, and they kept on going. Years passed. Everywhere he went to follow Jesus, he couldn't find him, he couldn't find him, he couldn't find him. He just missed him. He just kept missing his path. Finally, he ends up in Jerusalem 30 years later. And while he's there, he hears, Jesus is going to be crucified today, and he goes, I still have one more jewel. I could give him this jewel. Maybe I could save his life. Maybe I could be the one that makes the difference. Maybe this is the reason why I'm here, is to do this wonderful thing that I've dedicated my entire life to. And he tries to get through the crowd, but he can't. And he looks off in the distance, and he sees Jesus being crucified, and he knows the time is short. And he sees this little girl running through the crowd, and guards chasing, and the parents chasing behind them. And it turns out that this father couldn't pay his debt back, and they're going to sell his daughter into slavery to pay back the debt. And he knew he couldn't make it to Jesus, and he took the last jewel, and he paid off the girl's freedom. He paid off the guy's debt. He paid off the girl's freedom. And right about that time, Jesus died. The sky grew black, there's a huge earthquake, and a big rock fell from the sky, and it hit him in the head. And he was laying on the ground, and as he was dying, he was in and out of consciousness, and he was apologizing to Jesus. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I meant to give those jewels to you. I'm so sorry. And then it was as if he said, you gave every one of those to me. Because Jesus says, when you do this for the least of these, when you feed the hungry, when you clothe the naked, when you visit the people in prison, the people in hospitals, when you do kind things for even the least of these, then you've done it for me. And even though he felt like, I just helped some poor guy along the road, I just helped some poor family with their child to not be murdered, and I helped this poor daughter and her family to not be sold into slavery, really, he was doing that for Jesus, because everything that we do is an opportunity to show our love for Jesus. I think it's a beautiful story. Love you guys.